true. They have those dishes mounted on Jeeps and on trucks, and they take them to like the borders, and they turn those things on, and it repulses the people. It gives them a pulse. And you mentioned laser earlier. It is a laser as well, and it's a microwave laser energy pulse that can be turned up and turned down.
Who zapped you?
They zap me constantly, George. I'm a highly sought-after targeted individual. I have 24/7 surveillance, and I'm not the only one. There are literally millions of us worldwide, and there are thousands of us in the United States. So up to this point, we've been labeled as schizophrenic. Oh, well, you talk to police or authorities. They say, oh, well, are you taking medication or are you seeing a shrink?
That's the first thing they ask you, right?
Exactly. And they give no credibility whatsoever to what you have to say. But Havana syndrome changes all that because now you can say, hey, I have Havana syndrome.
Yeah, and they know what that is. That's right.
And they know what that is, exactly. But they still don't want to confront it. So this has been going on for a long time. And you told me before I could rely on you guys to be supporters of the targeted individual community. And there's a big one worldwide that is screaming for help, and no one will lift a hand.
It's crazy. How close does this machine have to be to you?
It can shoot at good distance. To my knowledge, you could be parked in a shopping center, a quarter of a mile away, and they could be on the roof and shoot it from that angle and still hit you.
But they have to aim at you, I guess, right?
Correct. Yeah. My understanding, and I don't know if Roger talks about this at all, but supposedly they can pull your DNA, which I think Roger did talk about.
Yes, he did. He did.
They can pull your DNA right out of the garbage.
They match that. They kind of cycle it or something.
To the weapon, and they can shoot you. You could be in a crowd of 1,000 people.
It'll find you.
Pull you out and hit you.
Now, what did you do for a living that would have them want to come after you?
That's a really good question. I worked in a motorsports industry, and I was an inside sales rep, and I would sell products, and that's it.
But it sounds like a normal job, right?
It was a good job. I've been there for 14 years.
Why you? Why'd they come after you?
Well, because they're going after the ones that no one's going to notice.
Or were they just testing it?
No kids, no affiliations with certain clubs or anything else. I mean, I go to church and all that, but
Are you their study? They're studying you?
Well, as Roger said, you're a lab rat. They don't care about lab rats. They only care about their own.
All right, you keep checking in with us. We'll take another call or two, then we have a break. Then James Fox is going to join us to talk about UFOs. Let's go next. Whose turn is it? It is Nathan in Middletown, Ohio. Welcome to the program. Hi, Nate.
Hi, George. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure thing.
Well, I called to maybe tell a story, but really what I wanted to tell you about, see, I've been an abductee my whole life, and I called the other night when we were discussing dreams.
Okay, that's right.
And, but it was actually a synchronistic event involving your program while you were hosting that helped unblock the first blocked memory.
Really?
From my experiences, yes. I was listening to a Night of Open Mind, kind of like this. It was 2013, and there was a caller who called about an experience he had, and he was describing his experience. And he was talking about hybrids, and he described a hybrid as somebody like a female figure with large eyes and a big head and long stringy hair. And the mental picture came up in my mind.
Same thing.
Same thing. And I focused on this. And within a few minutes I had really remembered a whole scenario where I had gone to sleep, been woken up by a hybrid being abducted, and then I had this kind of long, drawn-out experience. I really don't have all the time to explain.
I get it.
But there's the next morning, I'm awoken. When I wake up, I'm laying long ways across the bed. And my wife has been asleep in the living room, and she comes in to tell me about the weird dream she had about dying and me dying and weird stuff. And I was like, I had the weirdest dream too, but I had blocked it out.
So you two were sharing the same experience.
We were, but I remembered it because of your program.
Well, we did some good stuff there for you. And I assume you've been an abductee since you were a little kid. They just continue following you over and over again. We've got a few more experts coming on, Nathan, who are the best when it comes to this. And definitely check in with us and chat with them to see what you can go through. And sounds like once you recognize what's happening to you, things get a little better for you, which is important. After the break, James Fox joins us. He is a documentary filmmaker, and he was going to talk about government transparency with UFOs. I mean, eventually they've got to come clean and tell all of us what the heck is going on. They really need to do that, and I hope they do it sooner than later. Have you signed up yet for our free TikTok? Go to coasttocoastam.com. We've got TikTok icon right at the far right-hand corner. Click that. Sign up for that. We mentioned YouTube. You can do that too. And don't forget the Paranormal Podcast Network. Click Media at coasttocoastam.com. It's right at the top of the homepage. That opens up. Click the podcast, and that's how you can listen to it right there and really enjoy it. But we'll be back with more in a moment on Coast to Coast AM.
Coast Insiders, the new version of the Coast to Coast AM app, is now available for iPhone and now Android 4.0 and above. Listen live or on demand anywhere, anytime. Go to coasttocoastam.com and download it today.
Kfi 24-hour newsroom. The LAPD says during a check of an illegally parked RV in North Hollywood, an officer found an assault rifle and a large amount of marijuana. Captain Hamed Muhammadi says the RV was reported stolen in June.
When he saw that there is no front plate or a rear plate on the RV, when he saw the VIN numbers also covered at that time, he obviously had some reasonable suspicion in regards to what is the status of this vehicle.
Muhammadi says the man in the stolen RV has a lengthy criminal history and was on parole for a weapons-related felony. Breakthrough COVID-19 cases have caused a whole new world of canceled shows for the Broadway production of Aladdin. Shows in New York City will be shut down for the next 2 weeks because of COVID cases among the vaccinated performers. Aladdin had its reopening on Broadway earlier this week. SoCal weather from KFI brought to you by Indeed.com. Highs in the mid-70s to low 80s at the beaches, upper 80s to mid-90s in Metro LA and OC, upper 80s to upper 90s in the Inland Valleys, and low to mid-90s in the Inland Empire. We read locals from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Bruman.
Trouble working in Westminster, the 405 northbound at Golden West, the crosswalk beyond that. Also, as you head through Orange, 22 eastbound at the 57, it's an overturned big brake blocking you connected to the 57 north, traffic being diverted to the 5 south. As you head through Colton on the 10 eastbound at Pepper, a crash and fuel spill blocks the on-ramp, and a work zone in Ontario. The 10 eastbound at Euclid, roadwork has all lanes closed, traffic being diverted off at Euclid. You are stopped from Mountain Avenue. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Dave Joseph.
Is finding the right candidate slowing you down? Cut straight to You're Hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. To find your next great hire, visit Indeed.com/credit.
Many Wall Streeters are predicting the inflation plane is ready to take off. At Owning, we still have a few refi seats left, with 30-year fixed 2.75% rate in APR, with no closing costs on them. If the experts are right and the inflation plane flies high, APRs this low may be a distant dream. Don't mess around. Call 833-2-OWNING or go to owning.com before the refi market flies completely away from you. Maybe the experts are wrong and rates don't go up any higher. But if they're right and the plane is flying with mortgage rates reaching the fours, you'll kick yourself hard that you didn't grab a seat now. Don't be a dummy. Save the money.
NMLS 2611, licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Subject to credit approval. Call 833-852-6464 for terms and conditions. Equal housing lender.
Call 833-2-OWNING for a 30-year fixed refi with a 2.75% rate in APR today. That's 833-2-OWNING or owning.com.
At Certain Place, we know that people are experts at all kinds of things, except one, how to shop for the right mattress.
Right, Dad. Shopping for a mattress isn't something you do every day or even every 8 years.
That's right, Certain Place has mattress experts with an average of 10 years experience, and BedMatch technology that scientifically recommends just the right mattress for you.
So for expert advice, trust your sleep to Sitting Sleep.
You know, Drew, I'm an expert at other things.
Like what?
Screaming free!
Well, fall's officially here, which means stormy weather and cold temps for everyone not living in SoCal. And now, the top 5 reasons to visit Morongo. Number 5.
Into the Woods giveaway. You get a sweet hydration backpack when you earn 500 points on your rewards card the 4th or 5th.
Number 4.
Get splashed with cash in the poker room. Every time a football team scores, we'll toss up to $100 cash in your table pot.
3.
It's National Taco Day at Fiesta Taco. Tacos are $3 or less on the 4th.
And the number 2.
Monster Mash. Just earn 500 points on your rewards card, and you're guaranteed to win up to $100 in cash or free swap play.
And the number 1 reason.
Football, baseball, basketball. Have a ball watching all the ball games on big screens everywhere you eat, play, and sing.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Morongo. Good times.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Donate your car today with 1-877 Cars for Kids. We're a recognized 501c3 charity organization, so you'll receive a maximum tax deduction. What's more, you'll receive a vacation voucher of 3 days and 2 nights. Also on the web at carsforkids.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This fall, Audible is the best place to listen for everything you're into, from comedy to motivation to the latest bestsellers. Find it all at Audible with audiobooks, exclusive originals, and popular podcasts. Start listening free when you sign up at audible.com.
Our 2021 iHeartRadio Music Festival, the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime music event, is coming to the CW. The biggest superstars in music finally step back on stage. Featuring Coldplay, Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, J. Cole, Khalid, Darius Rucker, Cheap Trick, Journey, and more. Music Festival. 14 acts, 1 stage, 1 television network.
Watch tonight and tomorrow at 8 p.m. on KPLA 5, the CW.
KFI AM 640.
I know a handful of medications to help me sleep, to help me be happy, tons of therapy. When I'm ready to go to sleep, I'm getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I've lost some pounds, inches mainly. My family has me back.
Try Accelerate and Elevate, discounted for listeners to the show. Plus, further discounts with the Georgia's Power Pack, including a free gift. Learn more and order now at healthylooking.com. That's healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930. So jump on the path now to all-day energy, better focus, better sleep, and weight loss with Accelerate and Elevate at healthylooking.com. That's healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930.
Hey, George Norrie here. So you probably heard me talking about Get Upside. Remember the free app that pays you up to 25 cents cash back for every gallon of gas you buy? Well, I've got a special offer for you, and right now, When you use promo code George, you'll receive a bonus 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's up to 50 cents per gallon cash back. Let's do the math. Say you've got an SUV or a truck with a standard 20-gallon tank. Promo code George would earn you $10. That's 10 extra dollars in your pocket just for buying gas, something you have to buy anyway. It's basically free money. Stop overpaying for gas and start earning cash back with Get Upside. It's the easiest decision you'll make all day. Download Get Upside in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back just for buying gas. And remember to use promo code George to get the bonus 25 cents per gallon cash back. That's George, George, promo code George.
For every dollar you earn, there's a hideous monster trying to take it away from you. The IRS lies in wait to take precious hard-earned dollars out of your pocket. And if you need to fight to keep what's rightfully yours, contact Defense Tax Partners. It's as easy as a phone call to 1-800-709-1077. Don't try to take on the IRS alone. Call Defense Tax Partners at 800-709-1077.
People who are vaccinated are getting sick from COVID variants, and Americans have no end of questions and concerns. What we do know is that fever is the leading sign of COVID, so everyone needs an accurate thermometer. Exogen temporal scanner's accuracy is backed by more than 100 clinical studies, while non-contact devices have no supporting studies. They miss fever and give a dangerous and false sense of security. Remember, vaccines are not enough, and you need an accurate thermometer. Learn more at exogen.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you. Most people agree we are not alone in the universe, but when it comes to government transparency, what do we get? One person that might know is a documentary filmmaker, James Fox. Great job with this film, James. Great job.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate obviously being on the show. It's been a long time coming.
I bet. Now, this is your fourth film, right?
Yes, this is the fourth film. In fact, I have two versions of Out of the Blue that I did. I spent 5 and a half years on the first version, and another 2 years, 2.5 years on the second version. So I feel like that's kind of a half, you know. So this could be my 4.5 film.
Well, this film, The Phenomenon, includes so many incredible notables, past and present. Some have died now, like the late astronaut Edgar Mitchell, but you've put in an amazing group of people to talk about the possibility of UFOs.
Well, you know, I had the amazing fortune of the participation of Jacques Vallée. And Jacques, thanks to Lee Spiegel, by the way, Jacques helped me put the pieces of the puzzle together in a way that, quite frankly, I don't think it's ever been done before. We have some, obviously some similar content because I've read a couple of the reviews and everybody seems to really like it. But, Steve's going to tell the material this far. I'm going, well, yeah, because, if I accomplish my goal of sort of transcending it, going beyond the UFO community, which is, why I preach to the choir, and penetrate a much broader audience, they're going to be, the only thing they're generally familiar with is Roswell and Area 51. So I felt compelled to put a lot of that history in there. And, but we went out of our way to find, little gems, very rare historical gems. I don't know if did you watch the film?
Yes, I did. Watched it today, and Tommy got it to me, and I will tell you, I've watched many UFO films, James. This was one of the most comprehensive, updated ones, too, and that's important, I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. We went out of our way because we figured, well, give you a couple of examples. It's like, okay, so if we're going to cover, the Kenneth Arnold sighting, for instance, we went after Kenneth Arnold's daughter, Kim Arnold, and she had little nuggets of things that, that have never seen the light of day. Documents that her father had kept that she revealed in this interview, this first interview that she's ever done on camera. So yeah, we cover the Kenneth Arnold, but we also reveal new stuff about that sighting. We cover the 1952 over Capitol building, but we have an amazing Beta ST, interview that was done of Al's shop. That's rarely ever seen. We've got Nash and Fortenberry. Who's ever seen Nash on camera?
Same with Jesse Marcel.
Jesse Marcel. We had to dig deep for that one. And then on top of that, just a little thing I'd like to mention. We went to great lengths to clean up the footage. We got filters. We got specialists on board that processed those older clips and really cleaned them up and color correction. I hired we thought it was going to be in theaters because this was, the ink had just dried on the contract.
Yeah, that was pre-COVID when you were working on it, wasn't it?
Pre-COVID, and we finished the film. We signed the contract. We were going to get about 1,500 theaters with 1091 to this gentleman, Jim Martin, and across the country. And we were just super excited about it. It was a dream I've had for 26 years, and then COVID hit. So, that was still was swallowed. But the point I'm trying to make is, we were expecting a theatrical release. So I hired a 8-time Emmy Award-winning sound engineer and spent a couple of months tweaking the sound and creating a beautiful 5.1 surround mix. So if anyone out there has a 5.1 surround mix, you're going to have a hell of a viewing.
I love it. Now, what's your venue going to be, the vehicle for people to see this?
Well, it's available right now on all digital downloads, all major platforms. People can also go to the phenomenonfilm.com, and that gives you the synopsis, the trailer. It gives you a direct link to all the different platforms offering the film. And I just let people know that I went to great lengths, because there was a lot of material that ended up on the edited floor, to include about a 3-hour bonus package to go along with it if you purchase the film. And there are only a couple of platforms that offer that. So just be careful when you're selecting it that you get that option. I think it's Amazon iTunes, but don't quote me on that. But definitely take a look, once again, thephenomenonfilm.com, and there's a direct link to all the different platforms.
All right, now let's talk about your mission here with this film, The Phenomenon. What's the big message that you would like people to get when they watch this?
Well, like I said, I wanted to create a seminal feature-length documentary on a topic that, and mainstream it. And one thing I've noticed with this film for the first time, and I've done 3 previous films, is that not only the interest that we've been receiving from, mainstream outlets, but people like, Senator Reed, Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon, mainstream actors and screenwriters, that not only expressing an interest to see it, but once they see it, they are publicly endorsing it, which I've never seen that with a UFO film before. It's usually like, hey, can I watch it quietly and not comment publicly? But, we're getting these public endorsements, which quite honestly is mind-boggling. So I'm super excited. That basically means that we are informing the public that, and hopefully going to trigger some further government transparency. And there's even a call to action at the end of the film to accomplish just that.
Well, when you watch the film, James, you walk away from it thinking and believing we are not alone. And I think that's so critical, isn't it?
Well, I want to ask you, during the editing process, we edited for 3.5 years. We were leading up to the Rua, the infamous Rua landing case that took place in Rua, Zimbabwe in 1994. Then Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack flew out with a camera crew, and he documented all the children's testimony right after it happened. And it was a broad daylight mass sighting of a landing, and the occupants got out. I know it sounds crazy, but and interacted telepathically with all these children. Well, I remember hearing about that in 1997 when I was just naive enough to think that I could pull off an interview with Steven Spielberg, and had a mutual friend in common, and she called me up and she said, well, just let you know that Steven is definitely not going to meet with you, but he does want you to know that this is, case, this is again in 97.
Yeah.
3 years after it happened.
That was the Phoenix Lights Day, too, wasn't it?
That, you know what? Gosh, well, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's exactly when the Phoenix Lights happened. Yeah, but that was the other situation a couple years ago. But in any case, I heard about this landing cage through Steven Spielberg, and I just thought, there's no way an event of that significance in broad daylight with that volume of eyewitness testimony could occur and the whole world not know about it. So I didn't even bother looking into it. So I knew when, if you got a guy who's, me, who makes documentary films on UFOs, isn't going to believe that a landing cage happened in Africa and the occupants got out and interacted with the school children, allegedly, reportedly, that if I didn't believe it, who would? And so we would jokingly say in the edit studio for 3 years, where are we going? And we'd say we're on the road to Rua. In other words, we need to methodically and carefully build our case to eventually land on the Rua landing cage at the end of the film, with the expectation that if we could get the audience to walk out of the theater or walk away from having seen the film, thinking that event might have just happened, then we've done our job.
Exactly. Now, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, based on the book by J. Allen Hynek, came out in 1977. Spielberg put that together. He obviously has some thoughts about ufology, doesn't he?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he put Dr. J. Allen Hynek in the movie, and he played, Jacques Vallée was a consultant, and Jacques' character was portrayed by Francois Truffaut.
That's right. La Cour.
So that was kind of like a little wink to ufologists, when Hynek was actually in there smoking his pipe during contact. So, yeah, no, he's got a major interest in the phenomenon.
This movie deals with incredible people who are real, some of them governmental people, some of them are witnesses. But what's so remarkable is when you can hear these people, like the late Dr. Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut, Apollo 14, walked on the moon, talk about his belief of ufology, talking about what he has been told. How could you not walk away from this film, James, not believing in UFOs?
Well, you know what? There hasn't been one single review yet where this was dismissed. In fact, quite the contrary. I had a guy, Sid Janis, watch it a couple of weeks ago. He used to run the Academy Awards. And he called me up and he was like, holy bleep. He goes, that's done. You got me. These things are real. What next? And, this is the first time I produced a film that deals with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's a rather slippery slope.
Absolutely.
And I knew what I was up against, and I knew to be very careful in dealing with that. I mean, you can't draw any blatant conclusions. You just kind of have to put the evidence on the table and allow the audience to make up their own mind. But, we feature one of the first extremely well-documented UFOs, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, in U.S. history, and that was 1964 with police officer Lonnie Zamora. And that was one of the most well-documented cases, and one of the cases that actually sort of caused Dr. Hynek to do a 180, just because of the credibility of the witness and all the physical evidence that was left on the ground.
Absolutely. His son Paul has told us that his father basically changed his mind about his belief in UFOs after the Lonnie Zamora Socorro, New Mexico case. You're right.
Well, it's a really funny side note. When Jacques initially got involved with this production, Jacques Vallée, he did it sort of at arm's length. And eventually he kind of made his way out to the studio that we were editing the film in. And we were editing in a little wooden cabin that had no electricity. We had to run a extension cord out to it. It had no running water, no internet, and no phone. And, it was supposed to be sort of a temporary space, but we ended up getting such good out of this because there's just nothing else to do once you got there. And Josh was like, well, I'd really like to come out to the studio. We were trying to press him. He said, well, okay, you can come out here, but no, it's not the fanciest studio you can see. It's actually a wood knot at the end of the third run. There's no electricity. I mean, other than extension cords. But anyway, Jock came out, and he was flabbergasted that I'd spent as much time as I had on the Lonnie Morrison in support on that before. And I got to know, Lonnie's wife, Mary, and his daughter, Diana, and his son, Michael, and I got to know his co-workers, the former sheriff. And Jock said, well, that case is very close to me. And I said, oh, just tell me more. And he said, well, funny enough, I was actually, first time ever, I was at my Patterson Airport in April of 1964, with Dr. Hynek. And I was stressing the fact that, he needs to look at these cases in Project Bluebird files that were being dismissed as psychological. And Hynek was, what do you mean? He said, well, when they're dismissed as psychological, that means those are close encounter cases, which is close encounters in the third time. And he was, stressing this to Hynek.
Well, he gave Hynek the title, I bet.
Yeah, who knows? Right, that's a good point. That's a good point. But in any case, 2 days later, Hynek gets a phone call laying in Port New Mexico, and wanted to be home. Exactly what Jacques was emphasizing. So Hynek shot out.